Moving on. Moving on to somebody else who should have taken time, according to her own words. Should have taken time before she made this decision. We're speaking about none other than Jacky Matubia. And this time, she's actually giving us privy into her relationship. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, she's always giving us information like 3 years, 10 years after the fact. But it's okay. We're going to take it. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Nothing. So this time, she's talking to us about her ex-man, who goes by the name of Njogu. And Njogu and she had a very interesting relationship, which didn't end up in like the sweetest of situations. It wasn't like the cutest ending. It ended up becoming one of those relationships that just like backfired on everyone, and they ended up having a divorce after being married. This is back in 2019. They ended up getting a divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, but the rumors were out there that he was cheating on her, allegedly. That he was allegedly cheating on her multiple times with multiple people, and of course, a lot of people were like, yeah, he's a pilot. These things happen. And honestly, whenever you think about it, reality is pilots are not known to be the most loyal. Pilots, DJs, same was up. It's usually like the same energy, at least from what we've heard and what we've seen and our own experiences for the most part. So Kennedy Njogu was her man for a while, then they broke up. Now, she says she has never once been excited about the fact that she spent above 300,000 Kenya shillings just to get a divorce. And this is, again, per case. She spent 300,000 Kenya shillings. Some people, it goes up or down based on the kind of case that you have. She said, depending on whether you're having custody issues or whether you are having assets that need to be divided between yourselves, the challenges could pose longer periods of time before you're able to actually get out of this marriage. It could lead to the process being a lot longer, and she says that Kenya is one of those places where it's just not the best when it comes to getting divorced. According to her, she says for her, it was actually very traumatizing because they'd have like a court date. It was during COVID, and the cases would be tried, or they would actually have a hearing or a summons virtually, and unfortunately, some of them would be cancelled, and she just like ended up having like a really traumatizing situation the whole time. She said, as someone who has been married before and gone through the scare of going through divorce process, divorce in Kenya is not easy, and there is a lot of back and forth. You get scared of being married or even getting that certificate. And she continues to actually say it's very expensive, it's time consuming, and you're getting, and when you're thinking about getting into it yourself, and you start to think about all these other things, you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to get into it. She continues to actually say that it's very important that before you actually get married, you probably do need to consider a lot of things. If you're feeling a little wishy-washy about the whole thing, just give yourself time. 10-year engagements are not the best, but like it's better to be 10 years engaged, yeah, and then come to a realization that, oh yeah, this is not the guy for me, than to be in a 1 3-month, 2-week-old relationship or marriage and then realize, damn, this person is not for me. She says, just take your time. You don't have to get married immediately. And she personally doesn't know that she would be able to go through the process again. And I hate to say it, but this is usually the whole sentiment. Even with people who are married now, I have married friends who will tell me that they would rather have a long-term relationship. Like if they could be able to go back in time, they would rather have a live-in relationship where you guys live together, you have a full-on relationship, but you're not necessarily married certificate. Like the government doesn't actually have any signages of you people saying, yes, we have committed to each other and we are lawfully married. I don't know. I think when it comes to marriage specifically, it really just is a per-person situation. If you're, just like Jacky Matubia is saying, if you're feeling disconcerted, if you're feeling a little, well, I don't know about this, give yourself time. You will know the reason. Your gut never lies to you. There's always a reason why your gut is like, yeah, maybe not. And if you are willing to go through it and go through the process, then it's okay. People make mistakes. It's not the end of the world. You get divorced, it's not the end of the world. You tried, it didn't work out, c'est la vie. I don't know. I don't know about you. I personally think, yes, give it a lot of thought before you get into it. But if you do get into it and things go horribly, then don't go like, oh my God, I can't leave now. This is so expensive. If it's not working, it's not working. Duck. Go. You would rather not die. Just go. Go and have a different life. Maybe have a long-term separation, for example, or live separately. I don't know. Just don't stay in a marriage simply because you want to not spend money getting out of it. That's my 2 cents.
I saw somewhere where It is so easy to get married, and I remember the whole fear around the change of fees to get a marriage certificate, and guys were like, what do you mean we have to pay upwards of 50,000 just to get the process started? It came as a shock and a fear to many people when they proposed to increase the price for a marriage certificate at the AG's office. But the fact is, it is so easy to get married and so difficult to get divorced. It doesn't make sense. I think it should be the other way around. It should be very expensive to get married and very easy to get divorced, because I feel like most people, you get stuck in that cycle simply because you probably can't afford lawyer fees. Probably if you initiate a divorce and you can't take care of yourself, you can't afford lawyer fees, you get taken advantage of. As in, there's so many things to put into consideration before you separate from a person that you're like, you know what, let us become roommates.
Yeah.
You know, like how many of, us, I have friends who grew up in a situation where their parents are just living together. At this point, they're not separated, they're not divorced, as in, they're divorced but not divorced. They still live in the same house. They still sleep in different beds.
They're separated, but it's not legal separation.
Yeah, it's not a legal separation because you got into marriage, you got your finances tied together, you bought a house together, and now the process of you leaving each other is just impossible at this point.
Like, imagine
It's not a
Jay-Z
priority.